Hey, what's up, everybody? Video 44 coming at you with another video. All right, so reports have it, according to Chris Haynes, the Portland Trail Blazers are possibly considering moving this number 7 pick to the Toronto Raptors for OG Anunoby. I think it's a great idea. Uh, Not only do I think it's a well, let me preface my thought by saying moving the number 7 pick for OG Anunoby isn't something I've thought through in terms of value. So when I say it's a great idea, I ain't thought the value out at all. I don't know. But what I'm saying is, I think the acquisition of OG Anunoby for the new look Portland Trailblazers is an excellent idea. Because OG Anunoby is a young piece who's already won a championship, plenty of experience in different types of situations, comes from a good system in Toronto, plays both sides of the floor, can give you heavy scoring, excellent defensive player. I think he has all-star upside, and you picking him up at the right time. He's fully developed and ready to enter his prime, and ready to start. The process of kind of stepping out on his own if given the opportunity. Now, I'm pretty sure he's happy in Toronto. I mean, I haven't heard any stories otherwise. He's always been there. That's where he's won. He's good there. I'm imagining they got a great system up there, and if I'm Toronto, I'm not necessarily looking to move on from him unless I'm having cap issues and just have to pick and choose who I can pay. I'm sure they see down the pipeline Scotty Barnes. They already got um, Pascal on deck as well, of whom they've been rumored to be shopping over the last couple of years. But since he came off a fantastic year, OG Anunoby kind of was hurt for a majority of the season. He said his injury issues, things like that. Maybe they're ready to uh, see what they can do outside from that position there. So I think it's a fresh start for him. He can move on to Portland. Of course, Portland and Toronto have done deals in the past. Um, they had, if I'm not mistaken, I want to make sure I get this right, but I believe that was where Norman Powell landed before getting to the Clippers. Yeah, that's how it went. They did the deal with Norman Powell and got, you know, Gary Trent. So this is a team that these are two teams that have done work with one another in the past, and I'm sure that's why it's not a problem for them to get on the phone and talk about doing something here. As far as what the number 7 pick would be, that range is tricky because it's a lot of players in that range, and I'm only just now barely doing homework on the draft, so I can't really say who I think Toronto will go after. But what I can say is, if they're going to be getting rid of OG Anunoby, it wouldn't hurt to look for somebody who can do some of the things that he does. So they have a couple of really fantastic defensive players in that range. And there was a guy by the name of Williams that I think is really solid too. That I don't know if they should pick with the 7th pick, but definitely somebody I would like to see in Toronto. Jalen Williams, I think he would fit just fine with Scotty Barnes. So they have their options if they were to try to move the pick and um, rather acquire the pick, I should say, from the Portland Trailblazers. I'm pretty sure they would have Matherin available to them. That's another player as well. So if they want to replace defense with defense, that's an option. Um, but this is really interesting to me as well because the Portland Trailblazers, of course, if you guys scroll down on my videos, you'll see I had, I made a case of KD would be a good piece for the Portland Trailblazers. So I think with them having the vision of bringing OG Anunoby into the situation, along with the trade that they made today for Jeremy Grant, it's kind of the same vision that I have for their team as well. OG Anunoby, Kevin Durant, same position. Obviously, OG Anunoby is a different level, but you expect OG Anunoby to give you two-way offensive and defensive production from the small forward position, which is exactly what I said I wanted for the Portland Trailblazers when thinking of acquiring KD. You have that length matched up with Jeremy Grant, who's also a two-way player who can also stretch the floor, catch lobs, do excellent things on the defensive end, rebound the ball, just be an all-around star. And you add another forward there of a star length or even better, I think that that's a great vision for what the Portland Trailblazers can try to build to help Dame Lillard compete for a championship. He needs wings. That's where the league is at. The more of those type of players you have, the more versatility you have defensively, length and size and athleticism in the open court, The ability to switch everything is so important. When you can do that off a player like Dame Lillard, all he really needs is just players that can get him to the finish line. He'll take you home. He'll close out whatever series. He just needs guys to do the dirty work and the meat and potato work. And OG Anunoby and Jeremy Grant are excellent. Um, in theory, that looks fantastic. And of course, Kevin Durant in place of OG Anunoby looks even better. So I think the vision is aligned. And like I said in the Kevin Durant video, if they didn't have visions of Kevin Durant in mind, I'm pretty sure they could work him into the equation. And I was right, because I'm pretty certain if they had a choice with respect to OG Anunoby, they're gonna snatch up Kevin Durant. So yeah, I still think that should be something Portland should keep their eyes open and realize could be a faint possibility. May not be the best chance of making that happen. But what I'm saying is, if you dream about it, there is a path where that could actually be possible if you're Portland. But I think their vision looks good too. OG Anunoby's a younger player. I think he's probably more capable than KD defensively at this stage in his career. Um, I say that within reason because I know how great KD can be defensively, but you're just going to get more out of OG on that side of the ball, I think, going forward. Um, and he fits the timeline for the youth movement. Anthony Simons is still a part of the club. So the Portland Trailblazers really have a nice squad. Josh Hart's coming off a fantastic year, even though he got hurt at the end of the season. He looked great when he got there. So they got some pieces in Portland. I think a player like OG Anunoby or Kevin Durant could slip right in and have a great year with this team trying to win something. I totally expect the Portland Trailblazers, I told you guys in that video, I totally expect them to build something that's going to be a playoff contender this year. I expect them to be a top 8 team. I really do. Because whatever they're building, if they're not doing it for that, it don't make no sense. Simple as that. You might as well just trade Dame Lillard and start from scratch. And since they're not doing that, I'd imagine they're going to be looking to move that number 7 pick. And yeah, maybe they're going to land themselves a small forward in my mind. I don't see them drafting that pick. I don't. I think that thing is out of here. And so we'll see. We'll see what they do, man. That's what I got to say. Was there anything else in regards to Toronto? I don't think so. They'd just be adding to that young core, Scotty Barnes. But I will say this. If they're looking to shave off OG Anunoby, I believe that's a salary dump of some sort. I should have looked at his contract. I didn't. But if you're going to go full-on salary dump, it don't really make sense to just trade OG Anunoby. You might as well get rid of Pascal too. Get rid of that contract too. Because to me, Toronto, if they don't do anything, they really do have a team that I think is as good as any team in the Eastern Conference. I said it last year. I thought they could beat the Philadelphia 76ers. Now, they couldn't. They really couldn't. But maybe they're an Ayton trade away from that. You know, maybe that's the answer. I don't know if I want to ship out OG Anunoby, but if I could somehow land Ayton or somehow land a quality player that can guard the big that is Joel Embiid, if I were to run into him again, or keep up with Giannis if that to be the case. Scotty Barnes is going to do a great deal of heavy lifting, but he's not going to be big enough to guard that particular type of player. So if they need to find that particular piece, and if they could find that in trade, or if they could find that in number 7 pick in the draft, maybe they take Mark Williams. Maybe that's an option. Although I don't think I take him that early. He's in that range. Maybe that's the answer. But I think Toronto should definitely make a commitment as it pertains to what it is their timeline's going to be. Because once you ship out OG Anunoby, a player who's coming in to his prime, who you have his bird rights as well, that could start a process of making multiple mistakes. Now, granted, being able to trade him for a high lottery pick, that could be potentially a good thing. But the reality is, he was a high lottery pick, and he developed, and now you've got him. And I don't know, maybe it's just not time to pay him. If that's the case, you move on from him. But I just wonder if you're taking steps backwards for no reason, if you're the Toronto Raptors when you do this. You get rid of OG Anunoby. Let's say you draft a Mathurin or you draft a Mark Williams. Maybe they turn into something. But guess what? You're going to wait the next several years for them to do that in hopes that they turn into what OG Anunoby already is, for whatever that's worth. For whatever that's worth. So I don't know. I just think that that's just a curious thing the Toronto Raptors are doing there. Very curious. I don't know that you can make yourself better if you do that. And if you're not making yourself better, then what are you doing? That is the question. What are you doing? So we'll see what they do. Maybe they do nothing. Maybe they're just fielding calls, trying to see what they can do for themselves, trying to acquire some type of pick. Maybe they love one of these players at the top. I don't know, but I would just caution them not to undervalue OG Anunoby, because I think with wings being as scarce as they are, I wouldn't be so quick to give him away. I really wouldn't. Not for a number 7 pick in the draft when all you're going to do is just draft an underdeveloped wing anyway. Or a center that's going to take some years to develop. I don't know about that. So, that is my thought on the situation as a whole. I think it's great for Portland. Kind of curious for Toronto, though, depending on what they want to do with their books. My name is BDF44. I thank y'all for watching. I'm out.